And I mentioned at the top that you had really some success last time in the session too. I think you passed a number of bills, two of which became law. Um, and I'd love to know how you went about that in a state that is so red, in a legislature where you're in the minority. Like, what do you attribute that? Maybe talk a little bit about the bills you were able to pass, and what you attribute that success to.
Yeah, I think very few people are nice to each other, regardless of who you're across the aisle or not. And my goal is to be nice to everybody, and that's how I know how to live, right? Just make sure that we respect everybody, regardless of if they're extremely conservative. They've been elected by the people of Texas, so I respect everybody for that. I've taken a lot of selfies with representatives. In fact, on my website, there's a selfie with Salman section where I've taken selfies with all 180 because there are 150 state representatives and then 31 senators. And so I've taken a selfie with almost all of them except two. And that connects us because we have so much more in common than we sometimes admit. Right, a family is what we have in common. The state of Texas, there's so many policies that we file, and I've tried to work in a way where I'm never blindsiding anybody. Like I'm always honest. This policy, I can support this policy, I cannot, and I will not ask you to support any policy that is not going to be good for the state of Texas. And so every bill of mine, I filed 25 bills last session with two Democrat joint authors and two Republican joint authors from the get-go, signaling that it's a bipartisan bill. And then what I would do is any bill that would go through the committee, I would have those members of the committee join author with me. And then you can have unlimited co-authors, so I would have them do that as well. And then just work my bill. And I went to their staff members, right? Sometimes, members are busy. I just would go to the staff member that gets them on the committee, staffs them on the committee, and saying, hey, here's an idea. What do you think about the idea? Like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. We've never had a member come lobby us for their bill. And I was like, oh, wow. I mean, we should be doing that, right? And so I think that's what I learned more. And what happened is I passed 10 bills out of the House. So 25 bills filed, 16 that went through the committee, and then 10 bills that passed out of the House. So I really did a good job in the House. In the Senate, I didn't realize that that's, more difficult, and the partisanship is much more difficult. And I said I didn't realize as much. So once my bills got to the Senate, that's when I started to spend hours and hours on the Senate floor trying to get eye contact with senators. And then that's when I went to their offices and said, hey, this is a bill that I really want your boss to, vote for in the committee. And they would say, yeah, this is a great idea. But again, we've never had a representative come to us and speak to us about their bill. So they would recommend yes. And that's how I got some bills passed out of the Senate. And then I actually passed three bills out of the House and Senate, and the governor vetoed one of them, unfortunately. So I'm working with the governor right now to see what can I do to moderate that, or take the changes and file it again.
What was that bill that did not get signed?
It was about organized retail theft. There is something called theft, a charge for theft, and there's organized retail theft. uh, Petty theft is not organized retail theft, right? Organized retail theft is like when you have a crew of people going to stores and shoplifting, for resale, right? So I clarified that bill, or that criminal statute to say, hey, don't charge people petty theft as organized retail theft. That doesn't make sense. If somebody's stealing a pack of gum, that is not organized retail theft, right? Sometimes people tack on too many things to make it more, give them a bit bigger punishment. But at the end of the day, that doesn't. You should clarify. So I clarified that, and I think there was something that he may have not liked. But again, like I said, I work across the aisle more often than not, and especially in a state like Texas, and I think I'm going to continue working that way.